All right, we're talking about connective tissue, which is the bulk of the body. We're talking about specifically the very underappreciated tiny little amino acid glycine. Now, I would venture to say most of you guys, if you're not involved in really hardcore in the world of biochemistry and nutrition, you probably haven't heard of glycine. But this stuff is unspeakably important, which is especially interesting and ironic in a way because it's a very tiny, almost nothing little molecule structure. Very tiny little thing from a molecular standpoint. Glycine is the smallest amino acid, and it is the key component to the building substance of the body. It's like, you can almost think of it like a brick, like a fundamental unit of building. Glycine is a fundamental unit of building. And it is much, much more than that. And I'll tell you what I mean here in a second. But for now, it's a fundamental unit of building. From a practical standpoint, it is one of, if not the most important constituents of the body. Sulfur is right up there as well. Between sulfur and glycine, you probably have two of the most important constituents of the body. And these are two substances that many, if not most people, are deficient in, sulfur and glycine. We'll talk about how glycine is involved with relaxing and how glycine is involved in detoxification, how glycine is involved with the digestive system here in a little bit. But for now, I just want everybody to understand that this tiny little amino acid packs a big-time punch when it comes to the formation of connective tissue. And because connective tissue disease is the bulk of our diseases, it's something we all want to think about and know about. Glycine means healing. Glycine means strength. Glycine means growth. Glycine means repair. Glycine means anti-aging, and more. In fact, all of the markers, the signs of strength and vitality and health and wellness, including building the immune system, stimulating muscle and bone building, stimulating hormone production, all of this, especially growth hormone, by the way, all of this can be upregulated by making sure you're getting enough glycine. The body senses glycine in the blood. It sends a certain signal. Glycine is a component of collagen. So when the body senses that there's glycine floating around in the blood, it triggers growth and repair systems because the body gets the idea that there's a breakdown going on. Glycine signals that there's some kind of collagen breakdown, and because the body's got this amazing feedback system where when things are breaking down, it turns on building up, and when things are building up too fast, it stimulates and turns off systems, I should say, stop systems. There's all these weird feedback things happening. Ups make things go down, downs make things go up. So when glycine is floating around in the blood, the body thinks the collagen is breaking down, so it stimulates collagen growth, connective tissue growth, substance growth. Glycine as a breakdown product signals the degradation, the breakdown of connective tissue, and this in turn stimulates the buildup of connective tissue. This is a reason why another interesting substance also has these growth and repair stimulating properties, something called hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid also, like glycine, signals a breakdown of connective tissue. When the body senses the breakdown of connective tissue, boom, if we're healthy anyway, it turns on the growth of connective tissue. In the case of glycine, the body senses glycine in the blood, which you can get, and I'll tell you how you get it here in a minute, and why you want to get it in your diet and through supplementation as well. When you're eating glycine, it signals the growth and repair systems that turn on collagen production. Because collagen is the main protein in the body, building collagen gives you multiple benefits. That means you take glycine, you build collagen, you get multiple benefits. You get benefits for your skin. You get benefits for your connective tissue inside your body, the structure that holds your body. You get benefits for your bone. You get benefits for your blood. You get benefits for your heart. This is all via the activity of glycine and the activity of collagen. Glycine basically turns on the growth and repair of all collagen, thus all connective tissue. And keep in mind, as we said last program, pretty much any disease you're dealing with is going to have an important connective tissue component. It's going to have an important connective tissue breakdown facet. Anything. Even if it doesn't seem like it, diabetes can have a connective tissue facet because diabetes is secondary, follows digestive distress, breakdown in connective tissue. Diabetes follows a toxicity in the blood. insulin changes. The blood is a type of connective tissue. So if your disease involves the blood, it's going to involve connective tissue. Glycine is cell protective. On its own, it acts as a cell protective substance. Glycine can speed up the healing of wounding. Glycine is great pre-surgery and post-surgery. Glycine is the quintessential animal amino acid. That means it's the summertime on the African savanna amino acid. It's the caveman just ate a lot of meat, very happy biochemistry amino acid. It signals meat and game and summertime and good times to the body. Glycine is the body's happy amino acid. Vegetarians and vegans need to understand that if you're going to practice vegetarianism and veganism, especially veganism, which is much trickier to do, you have to pay attention to these building substances like glycine. You're not going to be getting collagen, so you got to figure out how you're going to get your glycine from alternative sources if you're a vegan or vegetarian. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. 855-660-4261 is our number. We'll be back right after this. Okay, so when you think glycine, think building. That means even though we're talking about osteoporosis, you're anti-aging. It means wrinkles. It means protecting your heart. It means the vasculature. It means the muscles. It means everything in the body. Glycine is amazing structural stuff, but it also has these interesting chemical roles that we'll talk about here in a second to play. Glycine is a key component of one of the all-time great nutritional supplements, one of the all-time great bodybuilding, weightlifting, and athletic performance supplements. Athletes all know about this stuff. They've been using it for probably pushing on 20, 25 years. But as far as the average non-gym rat average person goes, this stuff is pretty anonymous and unheard of. I remember when I first started hearing about this stuff, I was just beginning to get involved in the nutritional supplementation business. This was back in the early 90s. And I was spending a lot of time in the gym. And I remember hearing the buzz about this new supplement. Everybody's taking this new supplement. The weightlifters were all using this stuff. And pretty much everybody universally was getting really good results. I remember trying out this stuff in around 1995. I was blown away. I've been using it personally ever since, pretty much every day or every other day. I use a little bit of this stuff. Anyway, around 1996, there was this Colorado weightlifter / businessman named Bill Phillips. Some of you may have heard of Bill Phillips. Bill Phillips was a weightlifter here in the Denver, Boulder area, and he started talking about the stuff. He was getting great results with this stuff. He was a businessman kind of guy, so he started a company called EAS in Golden, Colorado. Yes, that EAS that you see around, this was started in the 90s in Golden, Colorado by Bill Phillips, strictly to sell this glycine-derived supplement. And he had some NFL connections. He got the Denver Broncos involved with it. He got a bunch of Broncos to take it and to endorse it, and they were all wearing EAS sweat gear and T-shirts and baseball caps after they won games. The Broncos got a reputation for being super athletic and super ripped. And then in a couple of years, probably I think the 1998 or so, maybe a year or two after they started getting into this stuff, they won a couple of Super Bowls. They were all wearing their EAS gear on their post-game interviews. And Shannon Sharp, who was at the time the best player in the NFL, super muscular, ripped guy, he was out promoting the stuff. Long story short, EAS became huge. Bill Phillips became a multimillionaire. And creatine, this spectacular glycine-derived muscle-building powder, became a household word, at least for people who go to gyms, people who bodybuild athletes. For a lot of people, this stuff, creatine, is well recognized, and it all started in the mid-90s. Glycine is a key component of creatine. Of course it would be. Glycine is a key building substance. So it's a key component of creatine. Your body can make creatine. But here's the thing about creatine that's very underappreciated. As with many bodybuilding supplements, it's not just for gym rats. It's not just for bodybuilders. It's not just for athletes. We're all bodybuilders. It's for all of us because we're all building a body. If we have a body, we want to build our body. So by definition, we're all bodybuilders. So by definition, you want to be using bodybuilding supplements, or at least studying or understanding or thinking about how bodybuilders go about their business, how real high-powered athletes go about their business. Whey protein started out as a bodybuilding supplement, and it turns out that whey protein is one of the most important supplements anyone can use. The same goes for carnitine and arginine. These are started out, or most bodybuilders know about carnitine and arginine because they're important for muscle building, but they're important for everybody too. Same with MCT oil, which we've talked about in the past. Very important for bodybuilders. Bodybuilders know about MCT oil, but we all benefit from MCT oil. MCT oil is medium chain triglyceride oil, and it goes right to work. It's fat that's used and not stored. It's an amazing supplement. We're all athletes. We're all bodybuilders. All human beings are athletes because life is athletic. Just getting through our day is an athletic performance. Just getting our butt out of bed is an athletic event. And of all the athletic supplements, of all the weightlifter athletic supplements, none is more significant and just flat out all around good for you than creatine. Creatine is made up of 3 components. It's got 3 little pieces. It's a tripeptide, 3 little pieces. Arginine, methionine, and the aforementioned glycine. Now, arginine and methionine are ridiculously important, and I'm going to talk about them here in a little bit, but glycine is the quintessential building substance, and it's a key player in all building processes, so of course it's going to be in creatine. Creatine does something with the body's most important, arguably the most important molecule in the body, arguably the most important molecule in life, in biology. It's called ATP. You probably have heard at least something about ATP. ATP is energy in the body. You know, when we talk about energy in the body, that's a whole other subject, but when we talk about energy in the body, we're talking about how something, I don't even know what you would call it, how something is carried from chemical reaction to chemical reaction to chemical reaction. It moves around. Energy has to be put in different places. Whatever the heck energy is, now I don't really know what it is, to tell you the truth, but whatever it is, it has to be put in different places. And it's put in different places via something called ATP. They call it energy currency. It's like money. Money is a type of energy. It allows you to do things. Money is put in different places. It's put in different transactions. In the body, transactions are called chemical reactions. In the body, transactions are reactions. So money helps you do transactions in life, and ATP helps you do reactions in the body. ATP is said to be energy currency, energy money. Well, guess what? You make money, you make energy money in the body via the activity of creatine. Creatine is involved in the production of ATP. No creatine, no ATP. That means, this is so important, everything is improved. Everything. Every single one of the trillions of chemical reactions is improved when you take creatine in the body when you have enough creatine. Now, you can make your own creatine, but you got to have the building blocks to do it. Personally, I don't see why everybody doesn't supplement with this stuff. It's completely non-toxic, completely benign, relatively cheap, supremely multi-beneficial. If you don't want to supplement with creatine, at least think about getting glycine in the body, either from food or from supplementation. So ATP comes directly from creatine, which in turn comes directly from glycine. Glycine, creatine, ATP. Glycine, in essence, can help you upregulate ATP, which is the essence of all of life. Cell energy. It's how a cell and the body transports energy through the body. All right, so much more to talk about here. I want to tell you about the brain in creatine, and I also want to tell you about how you can eliminate toxicity in the body using creatine. We'll do that on our next Bright Side episode. I'm Pharmacist Ben, and we'll be back right after this. All right, we're back on the bright side. 855-660-4261 is our number. We've got a couple lines open for you. We're talking about connective tissue and osteoporosis. All of this has to do with osteoporosis, and the idea being that we're not even going to talk about calcium until the very end. We're still talking about sulphur, and we're talking about glycine, and we're talking about collagen. All of these are great ways to help build bone that you don't hear people talking about. When did you ever hear somebody say use glycine for building bone? You know? Everybody's going to tell you about calcium. We're all swimming in calcium supplements. But we got all this osteoporosis. It's because we're not understanding how the body is structured and how the body is put together. The whole connective tissue idea, the whole collagen idea. So we hear about bone, and we hear about collagen, or we hear about calcium, and we make this simplistic connection, bone, calcium, bone, boom. Everybody takes their calcium supplements, and it doesn't dawn on anyone, including your doctor, that the calcium supplements aren't helping. So what do? You end up getting these toxic drugs. And one of these days I'm going to talk about Fosamax and how that thing works. That's one of the big-time toxic drugs, Fosamax. The bisphosphonates, I should say, the class of drugs. Anyway, we'll continue talking about glycine tomorrow, how you can get glycine and how you can get creatine as well. Your body will make creatine, but upregulating and supplementing with creatine is probably a good idea for everyone, especially athletes, and especially if you're recovering or you're dealing or dressing some kind of degenerative chronic disease, which is many of us. Okay, 855-660-4261. Carl, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good morning.
Hey, morning.
What's going on?
I had a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, 2 questions. The beta-carotene thing, I know you gave like a little warning on the vitamin A.
I didn't warn you. I just I was talking about how you don't want to just take one carotene, you mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well, how, besides the vegetables and all that, when you take 20,000 IUs, I mean, it's regular supplementation through any other various sources besides the stuff that longevity makes, even though it doesn't supply that much. Is it okay to take another supplement of some kind, as well as eating all the red vegetables and all that for your eyes?
Is it okay to take another supplement of a carotene supplement?
Yeah,
but don't.
Yeah.
You know, here's the thing on them. You can, but you're much better off spending your money somewhere else, in my opinion, than taking a carotene supplement. Because there's so many carotenoids and targeting them, it seems almost scammy to me to target a specific carotenoid. Because how do you know what carotenoid? You know, what they do is they study one carotenoid, right? There's 80 of them, there's 800 of them, I think. There's some huge amount. They keep finding new ones. By the way, you know these phytonutrients, Carl, and for the listeners, carotenoids and flavonoids are very interesting. If we discovered them back in the day when we were discovering vitamins, they'd probably be considered vitamins. They're that essential. Vitamins being defined as something that you absolutely 100% must have in your system. These phytonutrients, we underappreciate them because they got discovered later. And they're only used by the body in very microscopic amounts. So they got super amazing protective properties, especially against the sun, environmental protective properties. And so you want to make sure you're getting them. But the best way to get them is from vegetables. And if you're going to do fruits that have a lot of peel as opposed to pulp, because these what they call phytonutrients, carotenes and such, are in the peels of fruits, not so much in the pulp, a little bit in the pulp, but not so much in the pulp, but they're in the vegetables throughout. And this is what makes vegetables so important, as tricky as vegetables are for a lot of people to eat. Vegetables have those lectins in them. Vegetables are really important, but here's the key. Because these phytonutrients are fat-soluble, we have to pay close attention, especially as we get older, especially women who are in menopause, or anybody who's got fat malabsorption or digestive or pancreatic or intestinal, which is, the vast majority of us. We have to pay special attention to how we extract those phytonutrients, the carotenes and the flavonoids, out of vegetables, because they're not readily taken in. You eat all your Brussels sprouts you want, but if your fat absorbing and fat handling machinery, your bile, your liver, your gallbladder, if you had a gallbladder taken out, it's even worse. All of these things require fat absorption to be utilized and absorbed, and any kind of compromise there is going to affect that. So you got to make sure that when you're using your vegetables, when you're eating your vegetables, trying to get these things, you're helping your body, helping your digestive system pull these fatty substances out, using things like apple cider vinegar, making sure you're using lecithin and digestive enzymes, heating your vegetables slightly, and using oil and butter while you're heating them so you can kind of extract the flavonoids and the carotenes out of the vegetables. Heat them very slightly, using oil or using butter or coconut oil, some kind of saturated oil with the vegetable as you're roasting or steaming, or very lightly. You don't want to overdo it. And then when you're eating whatever the vegetable is, you put oil on top of it again. As much butter and oil as you can use, as is tasty. You should really go crazy on the butter and oil. Good stuff, though. Use the Udo's blend, or use good flaxseed oil, or good quality oils. In my opinion, I know there's a lot of controversy out there, but in my opinion, you want to make sure you're doing this. It will help pull the fat-soluble nutrients, the carotenes and the flavonoids, out of the veggies. You can also grind up the veggies or crush the veggies a little bit. That will also help if you can do it while they're steaming. That'll help further release those. I know I gave you a lot of information there. Carl, does that help? Did we lose Carl?
Yeah, I'm right here. Hello.
Hey, Carl.
Hello?
Hey, Carl.
Hey, buddy.
Hey,
buddy.
Hey.
Oh, my gosh.
Was that too much info?
No, that's fine. I have one last question. I have a friend of mine who's 60 years old. He just got diagnosed with leukemia. He's 5'10", and average weight, he's like maybe 200. He's not heavy, you know what I mean? So I don't know, what can you do to
slow
combat
things
that?
down? For cancer, you want to slow things down. The immune system's going nuts in leukemia. Cancer cells go nuts in leukemia. The immune system goes nuts, immune system cells. So you need to slow things down in all cancer. That's the key to dealing with cancer. I'm not going to say cure cancer. I personally, I don't see why it shouldn't be curable, knowing what I know about the biochemistry. But regardless, the fact is that cancer is a fast-moving disease. Cells are dividing rapidly. Everything's going crazy. You got to slow things down. Fasting is key for cancer. Using vegetables that you can handle. You got to be careful with vegetables too, but vegetables that you can handle, vegetable juices, keeping the body very, very clean, pristine. You're reducing any kind of inflammatory triggers. That's the key to dealing with leukemia. Lots of vitamin C, helping the body fight cancer using things like sulphur. This is for all cancer, Carl, not just leukemia. You with me?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm right with you.
Okay. Correcting digestive issues is big time. If there's anything getting into the blood. Now, once the cells have turned oxygen. Cancer hates oxygen, driving oxygen into the body. Hyperbaric chambers. Get Ty Bollinger's book, Cancer Outside the Box. I got to move on, buddy. Got a bunch of calls. Okay, Carl?
Okay.
Thanks so much.
All right.
God bless. Have a beautiful day. Okay, Ron in Michigan. What's going on?
Hey,
Ron.
Ben?
Yeah. What's up, Ron?
Oh, okay. Hey, I wanted to call in because I have the osteoarthritis in my left hip.
Okay.
And I'm scheduled for surgery to have my hip joint replaced. I don't know.
Well, I can help you. I don't know how far along you are, but we can certainly, if you want to work at it, there's lots you could do. Hang tight. We'll finish. We'll answer your question here in a minute when we come back from our break, and then we'll take Gina and Jeff and come back as well. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. All right, we are back on The Bright Side. 855-660-4261. Ron, in Michigan, you want to talk about osteoarthritis?
Correct.
Easy. Easy peasy, except for the problem with osteo. And how old are you, buddy?
68.
Okay, so the problem with osteo is because it's degenerative, that means it takes a while for it to show up. And it's going to take a while for you to get back to your, your fighting days, so to speak. But you can begin the reversal process, you can begin the healing process immediately, and you can notice results immediately. But you got to do a few things. All right? You ready?
Even if you're bone on bone right now?
Bone on bone, yes, sir. Even if you're bone on bone. Now, again, if you're bone on bone, it's going to take a while for you to get going again. That's a lot of degradation, and that's typically what happens by the age of 68 when you have a hip replacement. It's not really... Nutrition is kind and gentle. It's gradual. It's not like a drug, We get this idea, I take this, take that. It's like a drug. That's allopathic nutrition. I always say, you can't treat nutrients like you do with drugs. That's not a fair comparison. That's what the drug companies want you to do, is they want you to treat nutrients as if they're drugs. That's why you'll see these articles every once in a while say, EFAs don't help for heart disease. Well, they're not supposed to help for heart disease. It doesn't work that way. Nutrients work as a team. They work gently. They help rebuild. So what you got to do is you got to start where you can start. And if you don't want to do it, then you're right. The surgery is the only option. Does that make sense, Ron?
It does, but how can you rebuild cartilage that's already gone?
You have something called cartilage-making cells. You have cartilage and cartilage-making cells. When your cartilage is gone, what that means is it's not all gone, but it's largely gone, or it's degraded significantly. It doesn't mean you don't have chondrocytes, cartilage-making cells. You follow me?
Right.
You always have those. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to figure out why are these cells, remember all disease is cell disease, so you want to figure out why are the cartilage-making cells sick? Why are they not doing what they're supposed to be doing? Now, chances are you've had 68, 67 years plus of not doing the right things to feed your chondrocytes, to make sure the cells that make cartilage and connective tissue are healthy and strong and vibrant. Are you with me?
Right, yes.
Okay, so how do you rebuild? You reduce the inflammatory factors. This is going to take this is a process here. I'm not going to lie to you. You're 68 and they call it bone on bone, so you're degraded. You're pretty degraded. So we got to reverse it. I'm not going to tell you just take this pill, that pill. But if I'm you, I'm doing what I need to do, and even if you do have the surgery, you still want to do this stuff because you still want to stimulate your own, you still want to stimulate tissue, connective tissue. Just because you have a new joint in there doesn't mean there's no connective tissue growing, so you still want to do this stuff. In fact, even more important, because you're recovering. So you need more protein. First of all, you need to reduce inflammatory factors, always. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and I'm just going to wind this down real quick because there's so many things you could do, Ron. I was talking, listen up, because this is for osteo or anything. I was talking to a friend yesterday, I was like, you know what, Richard, I feel like I repeat myself. I say the same thing over and over and over again, the same idea. I say, yeah, you do, and we should call it the master plan. And this is like a master plan, Ron. This is for everything. You ready? Everything. All rebuilding, all growth. Cartilage, bone, muscle, neural tissue, immune system, whatever. You reduce inflammatory factors. You don't put anything into the body that is going to create havoc. And that means crappy food, and that means sugar and processed fats. Crappy food, sugar, and processed fats. I say crappy food because it could be chemicals, it could be anything. Reduce it, eliminate it. That's inflammatory factors. Patch up the digestive system. Use probiotics. Patch up the digestive tract. Use polysaccharides, glucosamine, bone soup, things that rebuild the digestive system. Make sure you're getting all of your building nutrients. Vitamin C is a major building nutrient. High doses of vitamin C. B-complex, very important. We urinate out the B-complex and vitamin C. Supplement with the B-complex and vitamin C. That's why I'm always talking about the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Make sure you're using fats, essential fatty acids. Essential fatty acids trigger growth hormones. Trigger growth supporting prostaglandins. We haven't talked about prostaglandins for a while, but you can just think of them as a type of hormone. Essential fatty acids help in the production of these substances. Use fatty vitamins, vitamin A and vitamin E, especially for the joints, Ron. Especially vitamin E. Use coenzyme Q10, very protective of the body and of the joints. And make sure you're getting enough protein, especially whey protein if you can do whey protein. Collagen building is also very important. All the collagen building strategies. There's so many things you can do. Magnesium is very important. All of these are part of what I call the master program for rebuilding all tissue. Thank you for calling. I got to move on. I hope I helped you, Ron. All right, Gina in Oregon, what's going on?
Hi, good morning, Barry. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I have 3 questions regarding to the collagen production.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so last Friday, you touched a little bit on the composition of collagen.
Mm-hmm.
The composition includes glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline, I think, valine, and maybe a little bit of a tryptophan. Okay, so and I learned that there's different types of collagens. So this is the first question. So do they have other type of amino acid like lysine?
Yes.
And that's
how they.
Okay.
That's how they vary. I don't think I said tryptophan though. Hope I didn't, because I don't believe there's tryptophan anywhere there. But it's true. Glycine, and the basic ones are glycine and hydroxyproline. And that hydroxy is really interesting because that's where vitamin C comes in. We haven't even talked about vitamin C yet. Vitamin C is the key player in the production. They call it in chemistry the rate-limiting step in collagen production, and that's where that hydroxy thing comes from. But then the third one varies, and the types of different types of collagen vary. That's why I'm really basically going to talk about glycine when I talk about amino acids for collagen. Does that help?
Okay, so the second question is, so it seems to
Did that make sense, Gina, though?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the second question is, it seems to me the hydroxylation of the amino acid is very important.
Very.
Yeah, like for example, so let's say if the hydroxylation for one of the amino acids, like proline or lysine, doesn't happen, and at the same time their precursor exists.
Yeah.
So in this case, is the collagen still going to be okay?
No, that's the key step. That's the key step is the hydroxylation.
Okay, so it requires the hydroxylation.
I'm not sure I'm understanding your question. That's the key step is hydroxylation. They call it the rate-limiting step. Are you a biochemist or a chemist or anything? You sound like
no, I just
like
study
chemistry?
it on my own.
Well, you are. I got it because that's how I got it. I just studied on my own too, so I appreciate that. Yeah, no, the hydroxyl part is very important. I don't want to talk. I want everybody. I don't want to get too technical, but vitamin C. That's where vitamin C comes in, and that's why vitamin C is so important, and that's why it's important to take more than the RDA of vitamin C. The RDA is just to protect you basically from a disease, scurvy, but it's not to just jack up collagen production. For just straight out jacking up collagen production, vitamin C is key, and it's so non-toxic. It's crazy not to take high doses, in my opinion, crazy not to take high doses of vitamin C. Go ahead. What was your other question, Gina?
So the last question, like what you just talked about, the cofactor, vitamin C. Also, I find out there's another factor. It's something is called alpha-ketoglutarate compound.
That's not a fundamental nutrient, alpha-ketoglutarate. I mean, if you wanted to do absolutely everything, I'm not sure why. How do you figure, what were you going to say about alpha-ketoglutarate?
I learned that from the biochemistry book, and also I learned that from the WebMD. And WebMD talks about it is used for kidney disease and intestinal and stomach disorders.
Why not vitamin C?
So
why not? Why is it?
They talk about that too, but this is one of another compound. Seems to me.
In addition to vitamin C.
Yeah, it's pretty beneficial. So I just want to
maybe yes, maybe no. I don't consider it fundamental. I want to take a couple more calls, Gina, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, have a beautiful day. Let's see. I hit the wrong button here. Oh, is that it? No, that was a dead air. No, you know what? I don't want to leave anybody. Jeff has been holding though for a while. Hey, Jeff, I got to go. It's the end of the show. You got to call back, buddy. I apologize for that, Jeff in Indiana. All right, that's all. Is that the music I hear there in the background? That is music. Okay, good. All right, well, that's the end of the program. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow we'll continue talking about creatine. I'm going to tell you some really cool things about creatine. Some very unusual ways that creatine is being used, especially for anti-aging. We'll continue that tomorrow. On the bright side, check out my website, brightsideben.com. Check out the shopping cart and click on the Join the Team link and start yourself a longevity business and help spread the word about the power and importance of a good nutritional supplement program. That's it for now. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.